Yo! What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the Hope Dealer 1177 channel, where I am Rick, and you are the lovely, wonderful collective. Hope you guys are doing great. You know, one thing at a time, one obstacle at a time, one joyful moment at a time, right? One miracle or blessing at a time. So, it's part 3. And I'm feeling led to go, we're just going to go back to childhood. I'll start where, like, memories first begin. I forget what year we moved out there. Probably like 84. Maybe 83. I think 84 or 85. 84. Something like that. It was on a farm. It was called the Locals Farm. But it's the local Plumbers Union farm. And there was a farmhouse that they would rent out. Pretty big place. But yeah, so there was like fields and stuff, but not much. I think maybe whatever they did with that helped the Plumbers Union. I don't really know anything about that stuff. Boy, this thing's kind of crooked. It's crooked. It's going to stay that way. So, yes, that's in the same area where I am right now. It's like maybe a mile, if that, maybe half a mile. Yeah, probably like half a mile, quarter mile, I don't know. It ain't too far. And I don't have tons of memories from there. Like, it's hazy, but I mean, I remember we had this wraparound porch. This big porch. I remember riding my big wheels and, like, very vague memories there. I do remember being there and stuff, and a little bit about the kids from the garage down below. They were older. Yeah, not too much from that place, but I do remember it, and it's pretty interesting. Last year, when I would drive by there, like in the early morning or something, man, I kept seeing like deer. Like, I mean, I was surrounded by deer a couple times. Like, there was deer in front of me, deer behind me, and there was deer off into the field. And the one time there was turkeys. Like, I don't know, like there was something going on there. Like, I don't know, man. I just find myself around animals a lot, wild animals. So then from there, this property was acquired, and a house was built, and we moved here. My sister was born during the time we lived at the other place. I have 3 sisters and 1 brother. My sister and brother, from their, like from both my parents, and then I have 2 half sisters. I mean, I do consider them as sisters. That's not like, half. I don't look at it like that, but. And, like I said, when we were here, and my brother was, born at the time we were here. Once we moved here, like, I mean, I should probably just jump to the first day of kindergarten, because I mean, I just was a kid doing kid stuff for the most part, like, but First day of kindergarten, I met a best friend who lived on the other lane over here. And yeah, I mean, his mom and my mom met, and I met him. And I mean, we hung out all the time, always getting in trouble. I mean, we got in trouble a lot. This is the truth, man. Yeah, we got in so much trouble in elementary school. We were bad. You know, and here's the thing is, right? We were just two kids that went through some, had some rough homes, And, we bonded. And, but yeah, I would think that the reason why we got in trouble was because we didn't probably get the right attention at home. So, even adults do this, bad attention is better than no attention. So, I really do believe that. I mean, I've thought about this a lot before, but yeah. My friend, Andy, he is no longer here with us. Rest in peace. Yeah. So, yeah, back to the trouble. I mean, we would get in trouble, like, just out here, at school, on the bus. I'm telling you, man, like, we would get these write-ups, they call them white cards, man, and they used to give them to you, and you had to take them to your parents or something, I don't know what. Then they stopped doing that. And then it was, they mailed them. Well, we caught on to that. So we would get them out of the mailboxes when we got off the school bus. Tear them up, and then somehow, yeah, we didn't think that went through. Or I don't know if we were together or if Andy did it by himself, but I remember his mom or dad there was this tree house, and found this envelope that was tore up in little squares. And he just left it go down, below the tree fort, the clubhouse. So yeah, that jig was up. But also, see, they weren't getting mailed back to the school. So the school's like, yo, did you get those, white cards or whatever? So we were busted either way. But here's another good memory from, I think we were in kindergarten. Yeah, well, obviously, because I met him first day of kindergarten. I'm not sure what grade we were in, man. We would be down here at this bus stop, okay, and the Appalachian Trail used to go right through here. Well, they, years later rerouted it on top of the mountain over here. Second Mountain is what it's named. The legal name is Second Mountain. So up there, instead of coming down where we are over here, they ran it down the ridge more. And actually, it goes right by the farm that I grew up on now. It's less road walking for the hikers, but so, that's where I first got this thing about the Appalachian Trail. So the moms were hanging out. Me and him left. I mean, I remember saying how long is this going to take? Are we going to get in trouble? But we made it to the top of the mountain. It was cool. And then we came back down, and we were coming back down, and it was starting to get dark. And of course, the mothers are like, where are those boys at? Oh, we got back, and it was spanking time. I just took mine, I was like, but my friend Andy, he runs out the door and starts going around the house while his mom is chasing him. She runs out the door. Yo, these two are running around the house, man. He's like, ah! And she's like, you get your ass back. I'm telling you, dude, and I'm in there, right? I already got my spanking, and I'm thinking, why doesn't he just let her do it? He's gonna get it either way, but yeah. Oh, forget that, dude. I don't know how many times they ran around the house, yo, but yeah. You'd hear this ah! And she'd be get back here. But we used to have classes together too, but because we got in so much trouble, they separated us. Yeah. You know, I'm gonna take this opportunity to jump to the future. Since I hit the Appalachian Trail, and this is a big part of my story as well. Because, well, I kind of got, you know, like I said, like into that young, like, after 1996, I ended up getting these 2 backpacks, so, like, I could go out on long trips, you know, or, like, a weekend trip overnight. And I had an extra one for a friend. But then once, when I was out of school and stuff, you know, like, you know, I was raised like with people that do like hunting, and you know, and I did a little bit like when I was young because I was forced to. I just enjoy nature and outdoors. I don't enjoy killing anything. So I don't enjoy killing animals. I do eat meat. You know, it's a sacred thing to take something's life, like in eating, you know, like, I like how the Native Americans do it, you know. You thank the Great Spirit and the animal. So this was something that kept growing, you know, and I was like, man, there's this whole trail, and it's right here, man. Like, I can just literally walk to it. And it just kept growing and growing, and I wanted to do the whole trail. And I can and could. Maybe one day I'll still do that, I don't know. But, you know, I was doing drugs and young and drinking. Like, you know, if I was shown some of the favor that my siblings were, you know, my parents could help me. You know, it doesn't really cost that much to do the whole trail. I'm sure it's a lot more now, but back then it definitely didn't cost as much. But, you know, the bottom line is, you know, they tried holding me back and everything. You know, and I knew it too. Because I was getting to this point where I was like, you know, very skilled and squared away in the backcountry. And I was like, I can do this, you know what I mean? Like, I was doing all kinds of long trips, going out for long periods of time. And I did this over years. Like, you know what I mean? Struggling. Not knowing, like, what to do with myself. And I'll tell you right now, I know, I mean, besides just, I'm just naturally, like, love nature and attracted to it. Like, I just love it. I love being out there. By myself, with company, or not. It doesn't matter to me. Majority of that time you're out there by yourself anyway. I mean, you meet people and hike with them and stuff, but, you know, as soon as you start hiking with a couple people, you might lose them. You know what I mean? It happens. Unless it's someone that's hiking with you, but still, you gotta hike your own hike. And it's also like life, you know? You gotta walk your own walk. And comparing to other people's walks is really silly because we're all on a different one. With different experiences. So, me going out in the Appalachian Trail, see, my higher self, whatever it was, wanted to be away from home. Like, I was already picking up, like I said, when I had this spiritual experience in 1996, you know, there would be times, military base, like when I would be out there in nature, everything would be just good, chill. You get back here, this fighting and, you know, negativity and stuff, and, you know, I'm telling you, I spent many, many years, like 5 years doing this, 4, 6, I don't know, 5, 6. And I was just hyper focused on hiking, like, dreading winter and looking forward to spring. And then when spring hits, it's like, is it warm enough to like go out for a longer one? Because I would still go over the mountain to the next shelter a lot. Like those were our, night trips or overnighters or weekend trips a lot. But it was freeing for me to be away from my family and their energy. And like I said, I didn't understand this stuff like I do now. But that's what it was. You know what's funny? I experienced the same thing when I traveled to the Philippines and was over there. Man, it was great. I didn't have this, negative, evil, devil energy so close to me. Like, and in my energy. I mean, like I'm saying, I was manipulated, abused, screwed with, psychological games, this, that, and the other from both of my parents. It's just that I thought my mom was somebody else. I thought she was nice and kind and caring and loving, and she would be, but just to, serve her purposes. It took me a very long time to melt that mask off. And she still tries masking to me and playing these games, and we're pretty much no contact, low contact. And she would act like a mature adult, not always trying to cross boundaries and lying to my face all the time. You know what I mean? It might be different, but she runs in that copycat energy. I called her last year, like acting, doing things that I was doing, and I'm like, it's just weird stuff, like, lots of weird behavior from her. And then when you ask her about it, it's this, that, and the other. Never her fault for what she does. And it's just really weird, like when you go through a lot, and like say like you overcome your addiction and other things, right? But the people around you, they don't ever change. They stew and sit in some type of energy that it's not positive. You know what I mean? And so if you don't heal and do these things, people just get darker and darker. The lower your vibration is, the easier for entities attached to you or dwell within you. So, but yeah, like when I'm away from this, like, and this is, I'm here for a reason and a purpose right now, but I'm out of here ASAP, like I'm telling you. But, one toxic situation to another. And like I knew what I was getting into, but I had to get away from this other energy. A roommate. An ex-roommate, a roommate that was an ex. But, it was a desperate time because I had to get the hell away from these people again because the chaos out here was getting crazy. And I choose myself and my recovery first. And it was getting a little weird out here, so I was like, I'm not going to let myself get put in this pressure cooker, like, because I know my triggers and this and that. And a lot of it was tied to family stuff. But I'm telling you, it all makes sense, looking back. It's like, all the hiking and being out in nature. Like I said, I love nature and all that, but there was more to it than just that. Is this a place I could go, go on the Appalachian Trail and just keep walking and hiking and enjoying life and nature and other people? And majority, like I'm telling you, like 99% of the people I met out there are cool. Yeah. Definitely like over 95%. There's some screwballs, but, you can pick them out. So yeah, I'm telling you, like back after my spiritual experience, like I remember this one time we were coming home from this local Christian thing called Youth for Christ. And we would all go to this thing, and we were back here. Okay, and I used to feel this all the time, right? But it was a week. not awakening, like eye-opening, that my two friends, without me saying anything, could pick up on this like vibe. Like we're like, man, it just feels like there's something dark, like evil up here. And I was like, you feel that too, right? I was like, dude, it's like that up here. And I used to think that, maybe there's like some cemetery, like, or that's buried, or like a Native American, or something like why is there this darkness on this property, and you can feel it, like I said, like we were all new Christians and stuff, and we're like, dude, it's spiritual, like, oh yes it was. And I will tell you, the majority of that energy that we felt, this is my father. It's his energy. Dark, oppressive, devil energy all the way. All the time. If he's smiling, it's because he's doing evil, or he just got one over on someone, or some shit like that. And he will smile like ear to ear, show all his brown teeth, and it's like a Cheshire cat kind of Joker smile. That's a narcissist smile. Because I'll tell you what, they rarely ever smile. But when they do, oh, it's because they're doing evil. And that makes them feel good. And this man projects his energy out. I mean, I'll be honest, dude. I think they both are like practitioners. Or they understand energy. Or at least they've been occupied by that energy long enough that they understand, what they're doing. Believe that. For a while there, I didn't know what, last year I was like, but the way certain people behave isn't by accident. I mean, I could see, something like a once and done kind of thing, but repetitive behavior patterns is not by chance or accident. That's someone doing shit on purpose, man. With intentions, willingness, No one's twisting their arm. They're choosing it. So yeah, like, there was that, man, like, that was eye-opening. It was validation. The other people, and I didn't say nothing, man. Like, they were like, man, like, something feels weird up here. And I was like, right? It wasn't their first time here, but it must have been, like, there must have been something going on in him that it was even heavier, like, oppressive. And that's what I grew up around, man. Like, it wasn't good being out here by myself with him, or period. It wouldn't even matter if there was a divorce or not, because the first one still would have been the same results, because when you have a broken individual who never takes time to, they're like, his solution was drinking. Yeah, and then he's an abusive asshole, even more worse. But he was physically violent with my mom, abusive. He's something else, man. This guy. And the people that have known him like his whole life, like his friends or whatever else, associates, these people don't know him. Like, when I see him out in public, he doesn't know how to act. Because he's a miserable, mean SOB back here. But if I encounter him out in public, he doesn't know what to say or act. That's narcissism. Because they're fragmented, okay? They have these different, like, like, they wear different masks for different people. But see, this is funny, too, because it also applies to, like, the social media thing. See, these people watch me, but they won't say nothing. They're watching this right now, guaranteed. But they won't, see, in order for them to hit like and drop a comment and actually, like, be supportive, not one person, not in the extended family or immediate. I'm telling you, dude, these are dark-ass people. Toxic, dysfunctional. That was a neighbor. Toxic, dysfunctional, and narcissistic, if not just narcissist. This guy's a dark triad. I believe that 100. But yeah, so in order for them to, like, say like this, right? To be like, hey, I heard what you said online about me, or were you talking about me? Oh, no, 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 no. No one says nothing. But I know. And also, they don't do it online because online is almost in a public way, right? So if they leave a comment, other people are going to see it, right? That's what I'm saying. So they ain't going to say nothing in person, and they won't do it online because they don't want me to know that they're watching, even though I know already. Like, right? I'm telling you, man, these people are goofy as hell. Like, my story is about believing in yourself and driving forward. No matter how many times you may fall and hit your knee or whatever, you pull yourself back up and you keep going. You achieve your goals. You know what I mean? If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. The things that are worth a lot, you know, you got to put time and effort, you know, and energy into it. And some of these things, you know, the healing and stuff, that stuff is going to bring up some feelings and emotion, pain, crying, whatever you got to do for your healing. But that's some of the stuff, you know, and these people don't want to go there. They'd rather let that fester inside and be the evil person that they are. Because I'm telling you, that's what it turns into. It affects a wounded inner child, affects every relationship. And relationships are not just romantic. I use that term, but people automatically go to romantic. That can be family, it can be friends, it can be. But yeah, I mean, I kind of lost my way there. Lost my train of thought. 27. Let's see. What else would I like to add into this before stopping? Yeah, it was a confusing childhood and life. Like, you know, I was bounced back and forth. You know, and I would choose because, like, it wouldn't be good, you know? And I'd want a normal life, like a peaceful home, like a regular home. It's either I was here by myself, up at my grandma's, or I would, you know, sometimes move to my mom's for a while and then come back out here because I miss my friends. Like, it was weird, man. Like, and as being the oldest, the other ones were young. They weren't even in school. You know what I mean? I mean, like, it would be that, like, shitty out here for me that in my teen years, dude, I would ride bike from here all the way to Lebanon. I would say, like, you know, 10, 11, 12 miles one way. Ride it into my mom's. Sometimes I would go into Jonestown to other friends, but when it was bad, I would ride bike all the way if I couldn't get a hold of anyone and stuff, you know what I mean? But yeah, I made the best of it. But yeah, ended up, you know, doing drugs and stuff. And, you know, then the people who, you know, make the wounds and, you know, aren't there for you, don't nurture, support you, they're constantly screwing your head up, and you're just a kid. You know what I mean? Like, it does lead to a confusing life, you know what I mean? Especially when you see other, like when you go to your friend's house and sleep over, and I'm not talking about the one nearby, but other friends, like, and I would see how those families interacted and operated. My family didn't operate like that. Nope. No. Yeah, it's something that's closing out here. It's just not something it never served me really, but others, you know. I'm telling you, man, if you're doing bad, you're a monster in every way possible, oh, they'll have your back then. Because there's people in this family that, like I said, man, they shouldn't even have a pot to piss in. But they do. But they do. And do you think they would keep that pot clean? Nope. It's filthy, dirty. No kid should be with those people. No kid should be with these two either. I'm telling you, man. The other one's not here, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just my opinion. You know what I mean? Because I believe in protecting kids and loving kids, and you know, kids are the future. They're a treasure, especially your own flesh and blood, man. Who treats? But yeah, dude, kids, animals, and the planet, and other people, humans, man, like, especially people that like are in situations, man. That stuff really gets me. Like, whether it's poverty or, you know, situational, or, you know, an oppressive government, or, you know, like the way, you know, even people that are like homeless. I mean, dude, like, people judge people so much, but you know, it just takes a little bit, and you too could be homeless. I'm just saying, anything can happen. But man, people out there judging other people, and you know, like, but if they have the opportunity to do something good for someone, do they do it? Nah. No, oh, if someone's looking, they'll do it. Just stuff like that, you know what I mean? I don't know. Like, I remember doing like, we'll call them good deeds, you know? Like, I knew people were struggling, you know? And I would like fill up some grocery bags with food, drop it off when they weren't there in between the doors. They didn't know I did. I mean, the one time that someone figured it out. But, you know, I was just trying to help these people out, you know? And, you know, no, like, you know, parade or recognition, man. Like, I would hope if I was in that same situation, someone would do that for me. And that's how I look at a lot of life and how I've operated, you know, helping people, doing things, like, because I knew I was paying it forward and storing up treasures in heaven, basically say karma, whatever you want to call it, you know, good energy, sowing good seeds. I've been doing that my whole life, man. That harvest is coming in, baby. For all of us, if you so choose, right? Anyway, I'm going to cut this off here. I hope you guys are doing great. Have a blessed evening, morning, or night.